Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and today I have a mailbag for you, really responding to comments more than I'm responding to questions, which is always kind of fun. I just have thoughts sometimes when I read the things that you guys say, and I'd like to respond to them just the way you guys respond to my comments. Brad says, I have to disagree with you on registry sets only being for the top end folks. I started mine to have a list of what I had to make sure I covered the full set. Then once the full set was completed, now I get to work on upgrading pieces. Not only so I satisfy myself, but in doing so, I rise through the rankings. Will I ever get to the very top? No, but I can use this registry set to not only see where I stand, but get an idea of what I'm looking to aspire to. Also, Gary says something similar here. You talked a little bit about registry sets and the competition. I use the registry set to evaluate the overall quality of my collection. In essence, I'm competing against myself. I also use the registry set to collect coins that match a theme I want to collect. An example is seated imagery on coins from around the world. So a couple of good comments here, guys. Thanks so much. One of the things that I will make a comment about is, people are kind of used to watching news shows or YouTubers and they have a definitive opinion about something or commentary. What I'd like to say is that I don't I don't find the world to be that way. In other words, you can have different things that are both true at the same time and they're not identical, because your comments I think are spot on for what you guys are all talking about, and I don't think they contradict what I'm saying when it comes to registry sets having quite the effect on the marketplace, and especially for high-end collectors. And I want to recognize that I totally understand you guys using the registry set for lots of different things, and thank you for pointing that out. There are lots of reasons people use registry sets, and it's not just to become number one. The idea of using it for inventory control, and the idea of using it to kind of beat yourself, so to speak, which is a great way of putting it. Like, okay, it kind of helps you understand quickly where your upgrades need to be. That all makes sense to me. And so there is more than one reason to have a registry set. So thanks, and you guys, for commenting on that. Next up, R Give says, will eBay recognize the new CAC graded coins? I have not found this out yet, and I'm going to have to dig and see what I can find out, because that's a big question, and I haven't heard anyone ask it yet. I watched a couple different interviews with John Albanese. I didn't hear it spoken of, which of course is a big fat hairy deal, because as you know, eBay declares who is allowed to play the game and who is not. They are a gatekeeper, which is of course one of those things that I have like this weird, I watch too many dystopian movies. I get this little itch when it comes to like authority and control sometimes, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there. My guess is that whoever eBay works with on their coin side will understand the marketplace well enough that they will accept CAC. That's just a guess, but I will try to get to the bottom of that. R Gives, great question. Thanks so much. Rick says, hello Ben, I'm getting started collecting raw old silver Mexican coins. Their diameters are sort of odd, so I'm not having much luck finding direct fit capsules. Do you recommend just leaving them displayed out in the open without a capsule or sleeve? The coins often have nice edge printing, and I'd hate to cover the third side of the coin with a ring capsule. Thanks. Okay, so Rick, absolutely I would tell you not to use the capsules. I don't like using capsules for coins in general. I don't know why. I just, to me it's a lot of extra plastic that you don't need, and you can just use your basic archival sleeves. So just a sleeve like this, and your coin just slides into one side nice and easy. And then you can put commentary. Usually it'll have double pockets. You can put a piece of paper commentary on there like thus, and then that'll actually fit into one of these here, which fits into any 3-ring binder. And that's kind of how I recommend it. Now, one of the things to watch out for and make sure you have is you want to make sure that you have the archival safe brand. So in other words, they'll have a soft plastic, which is like super flimsy. Dealers oftentimes use these because they don't scratch because of the soft vinyl, but these are not for long-term storage. If you leave copper in one of these things, it'll start turning the copper green real fast. You want something that doesn't have what they call PVC, and it'll be snappy. it'll be stiffer. And these scratch a little bit more, but once you put them inside of something else, they're usually pretty good. That's generally the quick answer to your question on those. Leaving them out in the open, if you have like a velvet box tray, those are kind of fun. That's kind of a different way of storing things and looking at things. But it has a lot to do with how you plan on storing them. But I do recommend always making sure that you have something that's archival safe so that you don't end up with some problems down the road when it comes to environmental damage. All right, so Gardner Earth Guy says, will we be treated to more radio shows this season? And Minnesota Matt says, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, last summer I had a series of radio spots that I did, half-an-hour radio shows that I also had a little bit before and after live stream. That I live streamed the whole thing. It was also on local radio. I really enjoyed it, although I don't know that I'm going to be doing it again. It is rather time-consuming. And but basically, some of the guys, I think just it was like their midsummer, they were getting ready for football season. They were basically tailgating while they were watching the show. It gave them a reason to start drinking at 10 a.m. their time or whatever it was. But you guys, if you want to, I still do live streams once in a while, and usually I'll post it up in the community page that I'm doing a live stream. So you guys can still get together during live streams. It has the same effect for y'all, and you can have your drinks and drink them too. All right. All right. So let me see here. Silver Amore Stacker says, just to let you know, there was a Littleton ad leading into your video. Okay. So I do not control what ads pop up on YouTube or anything like that. If someone wants to advertise and they are in the coin genre, their ads will go to videos like mine, and I cannot control that. So I can choose to not have any type of advertising at all, but even then, actually, I found out more recently that YouTube still may have advertising at certain points on some of your videos, even if you're not monetized. So I do not control who is there, and the companies are smart to go ahead and put their ads in front of coin-specific channels. And so, of course, we here are very coin dominant, right? So they're right to do that. But just realize that any ads that you see when you see my videos, they're not an endorsement from me or by me. I have not sold out. I really am trying to maintain my independence throughout this process of what we're doing here to bring education to everyone. All right, here we go. We've got Minnesota Matt. What's the value of NGC and PCGS dime samples today? Thanks. So for those of you who haven't seen, I've done probably a couple videos on sample slabs, which is to say it'll be an NGC or PCGS slab, but it'll just say sample on it. And so there's actually a lot of those on eBay that you can pick up for $25 to $35 on Buy It Nows. So it's a fun area to collect. I think it's a fun area to collect. It gets a little addictive, so you got to be careful when you get into it. I even saw a sample doily holder for about $700, $800, somewhere in there, that I almost popped off on it right away because I thought, I've never seen one of those. But then I was like, well, maybe I should find out if it's rare or not. So maybe I should look in this book called Sample Slabs, which is thin, right? I mean, this is, by the way, mine has a cutting error. Look at that. For those of you who collect paper or currency, you'll like it's a little error on the corner of the book. But this is really cool because it just has sample upon sample upon sample in it, and lots of fun stuff. If you want to know, they also I don't think that they have the quantities made necessarily on here because they don't know, but they do put values on them on the different types that are in here. So this is a fun book by David Schwager. So thanks, David, for making that book. It's kind of cool. Second edition with 180 more listings and 300 more photos. More is more, right? So very cool book. And if you want some samples, they're out there. All right. North Billing says some of the old branch mint gold also has that rough texture due to rusty dyes. So this was a comment based on a video I did on world coins. There's a bunch of Mexican pesos or 8 reals that I had in, that they really had this coarse finish to the coins. And this comment is correct. You'll see that on some of these gold coins from the 1840s, that the surface is not smooth. I mean, the dies had rusted out a little bit, and so you get a lot of texture to the coin, which is something that you don't normally see on U.S. gold coins that are, post-Civil War, so to speak. It's more of a pre-Civil War issue with the branch mints. And when he says branch mints, usually you're talking about your Charlotte, your Dahlonega, but also some of the earlier, well, mostly that's probably what he's referring to. You don't see the rusted dies as much on New Orleans Mint or Carson City or San Francisco for that matter. But those earlier ones from the 1840s especially, you'll run into those. Pete's pal says, sometimes I think there's something like a grading rut in a grading service. It's like they graded this one, that, and then this one doesn't look better, worse. So it's a really interesting comment. One of the things that I find, well, how would I put this? I find to be really, I was going to say fascinating, but I use that word quite a bit. One of the things that I find refreshing actually is that if you've heard John Albany speak about what he does is he puts together grading sets for himself and his team, so that when he's gone for a while and he comes back, he'll review the grading sets and look at them to see what a 5 looks like, what does a 6 look like, what does a VF35 look like versus an XF40. And this I find to be absolutely on par. I've done material like this before on our channel where we talk about just learning how to grade and putting together your own grade set. It's the same thing that I think it was the same advice that we got from Bill Fiva from the Cherry Pickers book. All right, so James Newell says, Ben, you're so right. I have chosen a deep-toned brown Indian scent over a red brown of greater numerical grade just because of how beautiful it was with the greens and the rose and the blue colors. Eye appeal does have preference over higher grade sometimes. I really don't care about the registry sets, so I'm a coin collector. Well, aside from the little shot fired at the end there, which is fine. Registry sets, if you like to use them, use them. If you don't, you don't. That's neither here nor there. The comment was about, the reason the registry set comment is in there is because the registry sets assign value to certain items. And my comment on copper coins was you can have a coin graded red and a coin graded brown, but the brown coin is way nicer looking, like way nicer looking. Like, if you only want red coins and that's your thing, that's like someone who is grading, who's buying Morgan dollars that only wants bright white. They don't want any toning. It's your prerogative, right? You can collect either way. My main comment is that the registry sets kind of pigeonhole certain things that you can't really account for otherwise, right? You can't account for toning, right? So for people who are paying thousands of dollars for an amazingly toned Morgan that normally would be worth a couple $100s, that's something that the registry set can account for. It cannot account for, and in the same way, it cannot account for nicely toned copper and copper coins that have great eye appeal, that have great color, that are not red. And that is the type of thing that I don't care if someone fixes or not, to be honest with you. Fix what? What are we going to fix here? The point is, buy coins that are attractive and don't worry about it, because down the road, someone else is going to find that coin attractive as well. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching today. Leave your comments down below. As always, I appreciate it. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner somewhere and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.